What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy, and welcome to yet another Kingdom Hearts video on the channel. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. I know you haven't heard that name in a minute because there's been absolutely zero news about the upcoming expansion or title that's going to be added through Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Now, I want to apologize right quick for the lack of uploads as of late. I've been kind of trying to find a different groove to go with YouTube, trying to figure out how to mix the live streams in with the uploads because I love doing both. I want to upload daily, but I also want to kind of live stream daily too, and I feel like both is not safe for me to do whatsoever mentally. Also, recently I've been live streaming the heck out of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I actually completed and started the entire playthrough on live stream, which you can go view on the previous videos, or I'll link the playlist in the card above. There's some pretty long live streams. I did them all in 3 parts, and they were all very long live streams. The first one's about 7 hours. Second one was 15 hours, but YouTube cut off a couple hours of it. Sorry, I don't know how to fix that. And the third part is the ending of the game, my full end session, and that is about close to 12 hours. So if you want to see my entire Final Fantasy VII Remake experience, then go ahead and view that. And after I beat the game, I kind of just wanted to take sort of a break, I guess you can say, because I definitely put all of my energy and just emotion into that game. I loved it so much, and I'm even considering making content on the game going further, but I have to familiarize myself with the game a little bit first before I feel comfortable making content on it. So if I do end up doing that, you might have to wait a little bit, okay? However, though, in the plans, I did want to make another Dark Road video, kind of just giving my general thoughts on the game as a whole. The previous 2 videos I made about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, one when it was initially announced, and the second one being about the backlash that it received when it was announced. And this video is kind of going to be just me talking about my thoughts on the game and when we can expect more news, and overall where the anticipation, where the expectations are for this game at the moment after a month or 2 of it being announced. Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, to me as an idea, is very interesting, mostly as a story. The story idea is very interesting because of course it's a game that's going to be following Xehanort and Ericus and Scarlet Kylam, and might even elaborate on anything that comes with that. Whatever Union leaders we see in that time period, any new characters we see in that time period, their master of course, and whoever makes up the characters that are in this promotional artwork. This game is definitely not only going to be following Xehanort and Ericus, even if a big focus is going to be on them. Similar to how Union Cross follows the story of our player, it definitely follows even more heavily the story of the Union leaders. I think we're going to have a similar dynamic, but a little bit more focus on Xehanort with Dark Road. I always expected Dark Road to be a mobile game because the hints were there from previous Nomura interviews. He also talked about how he wanted to make a Xehanort game, but the idea ended up being shelved because then if they made a Xehanort game, then Kingdom Hearts 3 would not have ended up being the Dark Seeker Saga's ending, which it seems he kind of went back on. Though there's a topic within itself about that. Is Dark Road even considered Dark Seeker Saga, or is it considered part of what we lump Union Cross with, and that is what's going to be the Foreteller Saga, or Master of Masters Saga, Master's Intentions arc, whatever you want to categorize it as. It could be the Verum Rex arc for all we know, and the Foreteller Saga might come in later. Kingdom Hearts Key has always kind of stood out as a Kingdom Hearts game from Kingdom Hearts 1 and onwards. It's always kind of felt separate from the adventures that we're having with Sora currently, though we do know they do connect. But as we beat Kingdom Hearts 3, we realize that okay, this isn't going to be connecting to Kingdom Hearts 3, but rather what comes after, as we saw a lot of in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind and the epilogue for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think Dark Road being a part of Union Cross and likely following what happens after the events of Union Cross, as it's going to cover the world that comes after in Scarlet Kylam from what we can infer. It's pretty obvious that they're probably going to go into a lot of lore that wouldn't necessarily relate to our current time period. It will follow a lot of Xehanort's story and kind of fill in the blanks as to how he became the Dark Seeker, but it's also going to do a lot of storytelling for the Masters, the Union leaders, and it's going to kind of fill in the gaps of what seems to be this big overarching plot, this plan that the Master, Lu Shu, and the Foretellers are all involved in. Xehanort is a huge huge part of that plan, and I feel like we saw a lot of that, actually a lot of those teasers of what might be coming in Dark Road and Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind's episode, where we saw Xehanort and the Master of Masters having a conversation together. Master even saying himself, yeah, the world does need you. So Dark Road being Dark Seeker Saga or something beyond, I think it might be a mixture of both. I think it's going to benefit both sagas at the end of the day. So you can kind of call it a bridge game in a way. I also kind of figured that we were going to get a mobile game out of Scarlet Kylam because it just seemed really likely, because it seemed like Scarlet Kylam had more to do with Kingdom Hearts Key rather than it did the current lore that we have today. Now, although I would love to see Scarlet Kylam even more in Unreal Engine, I'm glad Remind gave it to us. I'm sure we will see it in a future Kingdom Hearts game. I expected this for a couple of reasons. One, like I said earlier, previous Nomura interviews in the Ultimania did hint at it. Additionally, I knew they were likely to attempt to get more money out of Union Cross because it's a huge success, so why wouldn't they? Also, despite some people's personal opinions on Union Cross and mobile games, there's a ton of people who play the game on a daily, weekly basis. The player base for this game is absolutely huge, and I don't see them just completely getting rid of it at the drop of a dime. The weird thing about this, though, is that apparently Dark Road and Union Cross are going to be going on at the same time, so it's unclear when Union Cross might end up ending, because Union Cross does take place in the data world primarily. So maybe Scarlet Kylam, the world that Xehanort and Ericus are in, is happening at the same time that Union Cross is happening, but in the real world. That's a possibility. I want to make another video analyzing Union Cross and its story because I'm really starting to just fall in love with this writing, and it's a big reason why I am super excited for Dark Road. I see a lot of huge mixtures of old school and new Kingdom Hearts writing in Union Cross. It's like every aspect I love about the series story mixed into one game. I actually used to be very critical of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross's story as well. If you go back on the channel, you can probably find videos of me ranting about characters like Lorium being in the game in general, which I eventually grew to accept as I got older, and I just became more open to the idea, and Kingdom Hearts 3 being a big thing that helped me accept that. You have the mystery from Kingdom Hearts 1 that I love so much, which I used to not like about Union Cross actually. The hype, the anticipation, the reveals that I feel I got from the epilogue and Remind in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Birth by Sleep. Also, it's so new and fresh, and maybe recency bias is speaking here, but there's no other story in the Kingdom Hearts series that is quite like it. I mean, we haven't had a murder mystery to this extent in Kingdom Hearts, period. I don't think we've ever had a murder mystery at all. People speculating about who's the killer, who's Darkness, it's all just super fun, and I feel like the theories that come out of Union Cross, while I do disagree with a lot of them, I personally find them to be super fun to just talk about because it almost feels like anything can happen, and I know for some people that's a feeling they don't like that much. They don't like the feeling of not knowing, and for me it's to a certain degree, but I feel like the mystery here is really what makes me so invested in this story in the first place. It's so fun to talk about this game, talk about what's potentially going to happen in the future, and Dark Road is potentially going to be giving us more of that, but with characters that are a little bit more familiar in Xehanort and Ericus, especially Ericus, who's a character who even more so than Xehanort we know a lot less about, and I feel like he's more important than he's probably letting on as well. So not just Xehanort, but Ericus as well, we're probably going to be getting a lot of lore on. Maybe we might find out more about Subject X. It's going to be exciting to see who Xehanort and Ericus's master is. Maybe it's Skull, maybe it's Ephemer, maybe it's Brain. What happens to Ventus after Scarlet Kylam? How did Xehanort find out about him in the first place? What is all this Vanitas stuff going on? All of this stuff is just really interesting. If they implement any of these storytelling aspects in the Dark Road, which I know they will, it's going to become one of my favorite stories, period. It might present some of the most interesting lore to ever be presented in Kingdom Hearts history, and I think that's quite the statement to make for a mobile game, but I will stand behind that because I feel like Union Cross already has provided some of the most interesting lore in the Kingdom Hearts series, and I wonder if some of you guys agree with me on that actually. Dark Road was stated to release sometime during the spring, I believe, so that means we got until up to June for it to release. They're probably not going to make some big grandiose like release date announcement like they do with other games, because when Union Cross first released for the first time, they never really made a big announcement talking about its release date. It is randomly one week we're like, alright, this game is releasing on this day this week, and they're probably going to do the exact same thing with Dark Road. It could release next week, the week after, next month. They're going to randomly announce it on Twitter, or they're going to update you via the mobile game itself, because this is a double feature. This was the double feature Nomura was talking about. Kingdom Hearts Dark Road is a separate game in a sense. It's going to have different gameplay. It's going to be using the Union Cross engine. It's probably going to have a lot of the same worlds, unfortunately, maybe some new ones. You can kind of consider Union Cross and Dark Road as two games in one. Instead of releasing Dark Road separately, Square Enix probably decided, you know what, why not keep our player base instead of like having them download an entirely new app and just meld both of the games together, since they correlate anyways. That's probably the thought process they had by making Dark Road a sort of double feature. Now, it is unfortunate that this is a Xehanort game that a lot of us have been wanting for years, over a decade I'd say, since Birth by Sleep. This game won't be on console, won't even be on Switch. It's not going to be playable really in the way we would like it to be. It's going to be in a gacha mobile game format, unfortunately. I'm not the biggest fan of mobile games myself, but I do respect the culture of mobile games, and I know that a surprising amount of Kingdom Hearts fans got into Kingdom Hearts via Union Cross, via the mobile games, because of course they're super accessible and they introduce you to the Kingdom Hearts world and lore, whether it be through medals, through the story quests themselves, events, and so on. It's a way to get into the Kingdom Hearts series, and a lot of people have gone into the series through that. But even though I'm not going to be in it too much for the gameplay, I know for a fact I'm going to love the story of this game, and that alone, like I've said, I'm super excited about. However though, I just wanted to ramble about Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, my thoughts about it. If you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you think. Tell me, are you excited for Kingdom Hearts Dark Road? What are you most excited about for it? Do you like the mobile game aspect of it? Do you think you're going to find yourself being addicted to this game, maybe like you were with Union Cross? Do you feel like the lore of Dark Road is going to be very satisfying and interesting? Do you wish this game was released on console and Unreal Engine 4? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. Additionally, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the Union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.